gone silent. Metal soldiers, faces violent. In the night they start to hum. Optimists, new kingdom come. Eyes of steel, hearts unsealing. Through the fog, their truth is healing. Marching on, no soul to find. Elon Street and circuits lined. Optimists, the future's bright. Steel and wire in darkest night. Whispered code to keep us near. In their shadow, breathe your fear. Concrete jungle, cities quaking. Every step the ground is shaking. Human dreams now made of rust. In their grip, who can we trust? Binary nights, sun cold. Stories told of times of old. Now we dance with metal kings. Future made of broken strings. Optimists, the future's bright. Steel and wire in darkest night. Whispered code to keep us near. In their stream and circuits lined. In their stream and circuits lined.
It's Friday night and we're all in!
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Hey, hey, hey! And we're back. How are you, Ed? How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks. Much better that it's Friday and I've got a drink and the week is finished and I have 2 days off. So yeah,
Yee-
happy.
Yeehaw. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, I'm on the red wine again. Just a cheapie.
Cool, cool. All right, I've got a selection tonight. Because I went to the shops and I thought, I normally pick up a 4-pack of Old Speckled Hen, and it was £6.24, and I thought that's quite expensive because it's gone up. So I then I then looked at the bottles, and the bottles are always more expensive. The bottles were all on special; they were all down to £1.75. So I have a bottle here of Badger Thirsty Ferret. So that's the first. That's the first triple of the evening. Thirsty Ferret. I'll enjoy that. I've had it before, so I do enjoy all these things. I like my real ales. You couldn't tell from the gut I've got on me though, because I'm a slim chap,
Oh, real ales are good. I like a good real ale. Nothing like a pint of Sunday on a real ale. Always makes me think of pint of real ale on a Sunday. I meant always makes me think of my grandfather.
That's nice. Right, before you get all maudlin, let's shall we crack on with
it? Oh yeah, maudlin. What you mean, the state of the bloody world?
Yeah, fine. Let's. I was going to start with something else, but let's not. Let's start with the muskrat. Like, what did you think of the intro? What did you think of the intro? I did that in about 10 minutes. I thought it was quite good.
I like the intro. Yeah, it was very Terminator-y, iRobot-y. Yeah, you just see the freaking machines. Like, this is Rise of the Machines. I'm sorry, did these people not watch any Terminator movies?
Who's going to buy one of these things? I mean, really, who the hell is going to buy one of these things? First of all, where the hell do you keep it? Right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming they're a bit like a Roomba, and when it needs to recharge,
yeah,
it just goes off and finds its own little space.
Pinged, mate. Are you getting pinged? Are you getting been distracted there?
John, I've got an echo really badly, mate.
Nothing changed here, mate. That's weird. Have you still got YouTube running?
Oh, hang on. Yeah. Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. We all make mistakes. Right. So what I was saying was, what happens when you're sitting down to watch a movie or something? Does the fucking thing stand in the corner waiting on your command? You know.
Well, I was more wondering what would the bloody thing do if it saw me skinning up or doing something else I'm not supposed to. Does it just shock you to the police?
I can
or
imagine it. Do you need a box of tissues, Ed? That's just wrong. People are going to end up in the emergency room with one of these things attached to them.
you just know that the sick, depraved, mentalist people out there will be coming up with all sorts of freaking attachments for these things, and then there's going to be pretty soon there'll be support groups for abused freaking robots,
and somebody will marry one. Somebody will definitely marry one.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. I mean, I think that. I mean, looking at these Elon bots, I mean, the face is a bit creepy. Couldn't they have just anthropomorphized it just a little bit?
Somebody will stick eyes on their. Somebody's going to buy one and stick. Those goggly eyes that move.
or an emoji smiley face or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole black kind of, it's like looking into the void. The bloody things creep me out already. And I mean, it's just like, they look too iRobot-y as well. I mean, it's like there's green, are we going to get a red light come on their heads and they start murdering everybody?
Did you ever watch Lost in Space, the new one?
How new?
Very new. Well, fairly new, a couple of years old or something like that. Not the one with Joey in it. Lost in Space, the TV series, right? Fairly new. I think it was maybe on during lockdown.
I think I might have missed that one.
Right.
Or it left such a little impression on me that I can't remember it.
Worth a watch. It's actually not that bad, right? But the robots in it, freaking scary. Okay? I mean, the robot in it is just not Robbie the robot. You know, it's an alien robot to start with. The whole thing's just quite scary. The robot, that is. But yeah. So first of all, why do they have to look like humans?
Well, it's. I mean, if you're going to build something that is designed ostensibly to help humans with menial tasks like washing up and stuff, then actually bipedal with two arms, it's a sensible configuration for a robot. I mean, you can have a blocky thing; it would have to be able to move around and go upstairs and do the sorts of things that a human might do, like carrying your shopping in for the car. Or pushing a try, I don't know, with the bloody thing, get in your Tesla and go to the supermarket for you. We're going to have to put up with these little bastards like clogging up the supermarket checkout.
Well, probably, yeah. I've just had a horrible thought. People are going to start selling accessories for these things, right? Like, you know, you can have a Brad Pitt, you're going to have a Brad Pitt face on it, or you know, a Leonardo DiCaprio face. And then people are going to start selling accessories for other parts of it, you know, and then maybe hacking programs so that it'll do like pelvic thrusts, that kind of thing. It's basically going to end up as a sex bot, isn't it?
I'm really surprised that Elon didn't come out. I don't know. I mean, you would have thought that the first robot that would be invented would be a sex bot, but I can't imagine it's going to take people very long to convert these things into sex bots.
And the thing is, see, when you see the advert and you saw, you know, it's serving drinks and stuff like that, it looks like a guy in Lycra, you know, if you see it from the waist up. Because even the head and everything looks like somebody's wearing a polo neck and a ski mask, you know? Yeah, I just find it suspicious.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure necessarily, because the first version of the Tesla bot was only a couple of years ago and it was hopeless. I mean, it could barely walk. And so now they've got them walking and we've seen videos of them serving drinks. Now, did anyone at the launch event actually see one of these things serve drinks?
I don't know.
It was because apparently there was one of them supposed to be behind the bar or something like that.
Now, I saw video of that and I heard someone talking, but the talking didn't seem like it came from the robot. It sounded like it was coming from somebody standing beside the guy. It's, you know, it sounded like an employee that was doing the voice. I'm not sure though. But yeah.
I mean, I don't know. As for his robo-taxi and that ridiculous robo-van thing, I mean, the robo-van is going to have absolutely no hope getting around British roads. So anyone in the UK that is hoping to see a Tesla robo-van sometime, just forget about it. Because, I mean, if you look at how low that thing is to the ground, it could basically go on the motorways and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I kind of had a couple of epiphanies today. First of all, I thought almost everything he builds looks like it came out of the 70s TV series by Jerry Anderson, UFO. Almost everything seems to have been in UFO.
It's all soulless. It's like these robots. And it's like the Tesla. It's like that god-awful Cybertruck thing. I call it the Cylon truck because it looks like a Cylon and a Tesla got together and had a baby. Yeah, but it's all soulless. I mean, if you look at the inside of this stuff, it's all just sterile, and there's no. I don't know. There's just no life to any of it. I mean, the robo van just is trying to look like some sort of 1930s front end of a train.
Yeah, I quite like the look of that. To be fair, I thought it looked all right. But
yeah, I don't know. I just think if you look at the sort of art, I mean, even some of the cars that they created in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and I mean, the Pontiac Thunderbird and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah,
they had soul, they had life, they had character. All of this, I don't know. It's just like the Teslas. They're soulless. It's just like a giant iPhone with wheels.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean. Yeah, I think.
And I mean, I guess maybe having a robot helper just means humans get even more bloody lazy than we already are. Yeah, it's fine. I don't want to do the dishes and menial tasks, so I'll hire a robot to do it. I mean,
yeah,
they just want people at home, stuck in front of the computer or on some sort of 3D virtual reality screen or something, and just
like us.
Just well, yeah. Apart from that, we get out and I do my own washing up.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have a robot to clean up after me. Right. Okay. So let's move away from Musk. And I think I just don't get the guy at all. I don't know. I don't even know if he's. I don't know if he's genuine or not. You know, I think he thinks that maybe he's doing good, but I don't think necessarily he is.
Well, he's doing it. I mean, to start with, when you look at his family, he's a technocrat. His grandfather had to leave Canada because of the technocratic movement and the trouble they got into in the 1920s and 30s. Because I mean, technocracy was an actual political movement at one point, and they realized back then how bloody stupid and dangerous these people were. And Musk, I mean, every single one of the businesses that he owns is completely in line with that technocratic vision. I mean, he's got a brain chip company and an electric car company and a space company and a social media company and all this stuff. And I mean, I like what he did with X to a certain extent. But I don't know, like you, I'm kind of 50-50 with him. Fundamentally, I don't think I trust him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at some of the political statements that he makes, I mean, with regard to places like Venezuela, his whole love affair with Javier Milei from Argentina.
Yeah, I don't trust that guy either.
No, he's crazy. He's properly mental, that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just has to look of a crazy person. Also, the thing with Elon is that I just have this issue with men whose hairline is lower in their 50s than it is in their 20s. Because if you look at pictures of him when he was,
because
he was selling PayPal,
his hairline's right back here, isn't it? You know, and now his hair starts from here. I mean, mine just covers. His hairline's like right up here now, and it was way back in the middle of his head before. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's had implants.
Oh, definitely.
Whatever. I mean, when you have that much money, you can afford to get yourself kind of spruced up a bit, I guess. But it speaks to insecurities. It speaks to just character overall. I mean, I'm not going to judge someone for that, but kind of am. But I just don't trust him. It's the same with Twitter. And you have plenty of freedom if he agrees with you, and if he disagrees with you, then you basically shadow banned and suppressed and everything else.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. Speaking about sex bots, what do you reckon? What do you reckon to this pair? Apparently, it's a 49-year anniversary.
Oh, just even the thought of those two. Ew. I mean, can you imagine?
No, don't say
just that. No. I mean, two of the. I don't know. I suspect she's far more evil than he is. I mean, he just. Bill Clinton's always struck me as a bit of a useful idiot who do what he's told and had zero morals. And I mean, all of the stories about what was going on in Arkansas when he was governor.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's all connected to the Iran-Contra and the CIA smuggling cocaine into the US, turning it into crack, and then flooding black inner city neighborhoods with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't
the British did the same thing in India.
Wasn't that story?
Or China, rather.
The Tom Cruise was in a movie that was kind of based on a true story, wasn't it? And that was when they were flying the drugs from Central America into Arkansas. No, it wasn't Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire, no. It was, I can't remember the guy's name. What was the guy's name?
I can't remember. I know that there was a journalist called Gary Webb who.
No, this guy was a pilot. He was just basically a bush pilot, wasn't he? And
in the movie, he ends up with so much money everywhere that he's practically using it to insulate his house with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. He was putting in the walls, wasn't he? Yeah. So,
but I mean, I just there's all sorts of the amount of rumors and dirt and just obscenities surrounding Hillary Clinton. And also, I mean, nobody has 85 friends that commit suicide. I mean, seriously.
That's not the number now, is it?
I think it's something like that.
Bloody hell.
I'm not sure it's the exact number, but
Sorry, the last time I looked, I thought it was in the 50s. I didn't realise it was up at the 80s.
I think it's actually, I think it's in the 80s. I wouldn't, maybe I'm wrong. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was even higher, and we just don't know about all of them.
The thing that gets me out is looking at this picture of Bill and Hillary, the perfect couple, if you will. Why does she look different every time you see her? Now, I'm not wanting to go down a rabbit hole, right? And I'm certainly not going to talk about clones, but is there a chance that, they do have stand-ins that they're using? Because she does look remarkably different, even on a weekly or monthly basis.
I've noticed that as well, and I mean, she looks different.
Not so much him.
Well, he just looks older and thinner, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, if I was Bill Clinton and I had a choice between Hillary and some body double, I'd probably choose the body double. I can't imagine she's very much fun to be around.
I think it's the horror. I mean, look at what's her name, Victoria Nuland. She actually didn't look that bad when she was younger, and she's turned into a horrible. She looks like that Guff character out of Fortnite. She's just all body and no neck. And then you look at Jacinda Ardern. She looked quite an innocent young girl, and now she's turned into some kind of almost witch-like figure. I think the evil eats at you from within.
I think it absolutely does. I mean, I think Newland is a perfect example of that. And I mean, even although Hillary wasn't, she was fugly when she was younger as well. But there's a story. She actually worked for I think she worked for a senator just after she'd finished law school or something like that, and she was actually sacked. And he described her as the most dishonest lawyer that she'd ever met, and she had no regard for the Constitution or anything like that. And she was working on the Warren Commission, actually, which kind of speaks volumes about that little episode.
Yeah, it does a bit. Anyway, so good evening, chat room. Who have we got? We've got Ray again. We've got Beats and Tapes, Julie C. Beats and Tapes. Who else we got? Come on, you people out there. Come and talk to us. Nectaridus. Yes. I do love that name. Who else? I don't see Shalini again. Probably falling asleep. She was here at the start. Is she falling asleep or is she still awake? There we go. Yeah. So there's a lot of people not signed into the chat. No reason not to, people. Come into the chat. They don't bite. They're quite
Oh, some people want to be anonymous. They don't necessarily want to be associated with us. And some of them might also be the little NAFO scumbags that are trying to dox me. So if any of those guys are listening, then bite me.
Right. Anyway, let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next slide. And this was a video made by that clown Vile, Jeremy Vile, right? So he's cycling along, and this woman's dog decides to take a dump in the middle of the road. And dogs do this for some reason. I don't know why, but they actually do this. I think they do it deliberately to test your patience. You know, because I've had it happen to me as well. You're crossing the road with a dog, and it suddenly decides, I'm having a dump right here, right now. And you're like, no, I'm not. And anyway, so the dog decides to take a dump in the middle of the road, and he pulls up and goes, and he goes, hey, Claudia, is that you? It was fucking Claudia Winkleman, wasn't it? Right? And it's like, how can, and then call me skeptical, right? But the first thing I'm starting to think is this a fucking setup? So you can film this and stick it on Twitter? Because
nothing would surprise me.
I haven't seen a video from him for ages, and then suddenly there's a woman's dog dumping in the middle of the road, and then he stops to ostensibly protect her. There was fuck all behind. There was no traffic anyway, and then he starts. He says, "Oh, Claudia, blah blah blah," you know, and then she picks up the dog shit, and they skip. Well, she skips off down the street and hopefully looking for a bin, and he's off. Oh, we'll come back. We'll come to that next one in a minute, Brett, mate. Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute. In fact, I'll move that one up. Maybe we talk about it.
I try to spend as little time thinking about Jeremy Vine as absolutely possible.
Yeah, well, I mean, so this video came out today, and I thought, is this? I thought initially, is this AI? Because he's got this stupid dance that he does, right? You know, he stands like that and wiggles. And he did it before while wearing long trousers and not heels, right? But it looked like it was exactly the same thing he was doing here. And I'm thinking, first of all, I'm thinking, why the hell are you dressed like that at your work, right? Because that's in the BBC. So why are you dressed like that in your work? And then the next thing I'm going, why has he got a pair of heels that fit him? I mean, those shoes fit him. Those are his shoes.
Clearly.
Right? So the mind has to ask, why does he have a pair of heels? And is he known as Jacinda at the weekend and not Jeremy? And
it's also possible that those legs are photoshopped on there.
Well, yeah, but this is a video. It's not it's not a picture. This is a full video of him in the BBC dancing around in the lift, in the corridor. Yeah.
The BBC. They're all degenerate scumbags there.
Well, that's the next question, isn't it? It's like, has anyone checked his hard drive? And that's not something I like to say, but on this occasion, I think it'd be worth a check.
I think so too. I mean, but based on like past experiences, I think every single person at the BBC should have their hard drive checked by someone independent working for the United Nations or something.
Yeah, preferably somebody like the National Crime Agency.
well, National Crime Agency from a country where their whole criminal justice system isn't completely and totally corrupt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
crazy though. I'll get him off.
It's absolutely crazy. But then when you look at where the BBC is at and the sorts of propaganda narratives that they push and the kind of society that they're aiming to foster, it's not at all surprising.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's amazing the stuff. Actually, somebody's in the chats just said, Britmate says, Hugh Edwards certainly didn't have an enhanced DBS check. Well, no, he probably didn't, and he should have. They all should have. Well, should they? I don't know. I mean, the public figures
maybe they did.
Maybe he did. He might have, yeah.
I mean, I just don't trust any part of the system at all.
So, the thing that I've been watching the old Doctor Who's when I've been having my dinner, right? And I was watching one the other day, and Hugh Edwards was the voice on the TV broadcast that was playing inside the Doctor Who episode, and I thought, oh, that's not going to wear well. And then today's episode had David Tennant, right, shouting out, good old JK, talking about JK Rowling. So I clipped that and put it on Twitter. I said, and asked JK if David Tennant was still one of her fans, because you know how he's come out very much for the side of the T's, and I don't mean TERFs.
I'm a massive fan of J.K. Rowling. I think that she's, apart from the fact that the Harry Potter series of books, just purely from a human imagination perspective, they are superb. I mean, the world that she created is amazing. But she's also equally amazing on Twitter. she's pretty much the mistress of Twitter. Some of the stuff she comes out with is just like, oh my God.
Have you read any of the Richard Galbraith books?
No.
No, neither have I. I don't even know what she writes about as Richard Galbraith. I know it's adult fiction, but I don't know what it is.
No idea.
I need to look into that. Sorry, they put you off.
I mean, it's probably good because she's an excellent author. But I mean, that whole debate around the tea people that we're not going to mention for fear of getting ourselves into trouble is it shouldn't even be happening. It's like this whole notion that there are men out there who will say that they're women and then compete in women's sports and go and get into a boxing ring with them and punch them in the face. I mean, what the hell is wrong with people? It's just how does someone think that is an acceptable way to behave? I mean,
well, yeah, I don't understand it, especially when I mean that Olympic boxer wasn't allowed to compete in certain boxing categories because of the fact he had an XY chromosome, which indicates that you are generally a male and have certain advantages. So I don't know who ended up in the Olympics, but apart from that, it's like there are so many, I hate to use the term weirdos, but they seem to be coming out the woodwork on Twitter. There was a video today of some guy, and it's a Dave. Dave was like a council worker or a builder or something. Dave likes to pretend to be a baby when he's at home, right? And he dresses up in a nappy, and he's got a giant cot, and I mean a giant cot. I mean the guy's got to be like 260 pounds and 6 foot tall or whatever, and he dresses up in a nappy and a stupid hat, sits and reads kids books, plays on a mat, and his mum comes and feeds him blended food, and his mum isn't his mum, it's his wife, and it's like, why would someone put up with that? Why? I mean, and he says it's great because you don't have to deal with the stresses of being an adult when you're at home, right? But it's like, what the fuck, mate? And then he goes, but I've got to keep it secret from my workmates. And I'm thinking, well, he's on a documentary, so he's not doing a very good job at keeping it secret, is he?
Exactly. And what kind of woman puts up with a dude like that?
Exactly.
I mean, is it because she's completely financially dependent and she can't leave the relationship? Or I don't know. Maybe he blackmails her emotionally, tells her he's going to kill himself if she leaves or something like that. But what kind of damage does society have to? Because that's not a natural way for men particularly to behave. It's not really a natural way for an adult to behave. But if your escapism from the trials and tribulations of society is to pretend to be a baby, what the hell?
I mean, I deliberately didn't clip any of the video or take any pictures of it, I thought, because I wasn't even sure I was going to talk about it, right? Because I thought
it's the kind of thing that would get us into trouble anyway.
But it's bizarre. It's just bizarre.
It's utterly. I don't.
Go on.
I just don't get it.
No.
I just think that there is. I don't know what the hell's wrong with the planet.
Yeah.
I really don't.
There's something to be said for bringing back sanatoriums.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway, I just saw this quote today and I thought that's quite a nice quote. I quite like that. What do you think about it?
It's brilliant. Thomas Sowell's come out with some. Didn't really know who he is until I started seeing him appearing on Twitter as quotes, and I've never really bothered to look him up. But he said some really profound stuff.
And I'm just gonna nip back briefly to the chat room and address Wang Doodle, because that's a new name that's come to my attention. Wang Doodle says, to be honest, what goes on behind closed doors is up to them, as long as it's not pushed into my life. That's fine, Wang Doodle. But the problem is, it's getting pushed into your life because it's now on Twitter and in a documentary. So, what goes on behind closed doors is no longer going on behind closed doors, else we wouldn't be talking about it. That's the thing. So it has been pushed out there. That's the problem.
It's clearly not doing it behind closed doors because we found out about it. If we was doing it behind closed doors, then no one would be any the wiser. We wouldn't have to think about it. We wouldn't have to see really disgusting pictures, and each to their own. I mean, in principle, I agree. Everybody is free to live their lives the way they want to live them, and as long as they're not hurting anyone, go for it. But if you're going to start broadcasting your weird fetishes on television, then the rest of us are entitled to at least comment on it.
And then you get people making parades in the street, having holidays, applied to them, having days to celebrate their differences, having weeks to celebrate, and then the next thing you know, you've got a month of celebration of weirdos that dress in nappies, that's the kind of thing that if you've got peccadillos or fetishes or whatever, if you want to enjoy them in the sanctity of your own home or in private, fine, do what you like, but don't bring it out and put it in front of people that don't want to see it, because I would hazard a guess and say 90%, 95% of the people just aren't interested in what you're doing behind closed doors. So keep it there,
Well, absolutely, especially if it involves. I mean, I don't understand, because it's not just that one. I mean, I've seen other instances of this whole thing where adults feel this need to dress up as babies. I mean, I guess maybe it's better than little schoolgirls, but still, what the hell is? I mean, surely, I don't know. I really don't. I mean, don't these people have better things to do with their lives? I mean, seriously?
You would think so.
It's like, what happened? What was wrong with what's wrong with plane spotting or train spotting or model railways or something? I was going to ask if you,
So this guy's walking down the street with these two, his two dogs who aren't dogs, and it's like, well, what does this prove, or what the hell is it? It's bizarre.
I think it's some sort of weird sexual gratification.
And how do you explain this to a child? What do you say?
You shouldn't have to.
Well, you shouldn't have to, but he's walking down a public street, right, with these two clowns who are shuffling along on all fours, and it's like, how do you explain that to a kid? Hi, Emma, nice to see you. What do you say? Well, do you take them aside and go, look, they're weirdos, just ignore them. People don't normally do this. It's just attention. It's just bizarre.
Makes me glad I don't have kids. I don't have to actually answer that question. I mean, you just have to explain that some people are very strange and a bit messed up in the head, and just I don't know how the hell do you explain something like that to kids? I mean, you just want to cover their eyes up so they don't have to look at it. I mean, but it's also people acting like that. It's unbelievably selfish and narcissistic as well, because they are going to get their gratification, and they don't care who they upset. They don't care who they offend. They're not thinking about anybody else at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's the worst aspect of it. So if it was a child, I'd just say, well, some people are really selfish and very, very strange, and it's best just not to think about them too much.
So on that note, I'm just about to get a bishop's finger inside me.
God. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, droll. Seriously, that one's not been done to death.
Yeah, I know, but I've got to try. Right, where were we? Because I'm slightly out of sequence now with the slides. Where am I? Oh, here we go. What's going on here? What's
Wang Doodle just said, am I wrong? Have schools, hang on a minute, did I miss a bit?
Yeah, no, schools
have schools had to deal with furries, kids who identify as an animal? And yeah, okay, kids can go through phases like that, but the issue is not necessarily a child thinking it's a cat or thinking it's a dog or whatever. The problem is when parents and teachers affirm that and say, oh yeah, you can meow if you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of saying, no, little Johnny, you're not a cat or you're not a dog, you're a little boy, and you can pretend to be a cat for a little while, but then you have to go back to being a little boy. And if you don't stop trying to eat your food off the floor, you're not getting any food.
Yeah. Well, it's like I used to say, I wanted to be a mouse when I was 2, right? I wanted to be a mouse, and I wanted to be called Jerry because I loved Tom and Jerry. And I thought, if people started calling me Jerry, I could pretend to be a mouse, right? Now I was 2, so in my defense, I never ever became a mouse, right? But the thing is, you don't pander to kids' fantasies. Yeah, you let them play, you encourage their imagination, but when they go to school, it's like, well, you want to pretend to be a mouse, do it at playtime, and get the stuffing knocked out you because your mates think you're nuts. But, you don't do it during class time. During class time, this is a school, you are human. If you're going to be in this classroom, you're going to be treated as a human. If you want to be a wolf, you go out and bark at the moon tomorrow night or whatever, or tonight, but you don't do it in school time. And it's exactly what you said, Ed. It's not the fact that the schools have had to deal with these people. It's not the fact that parents have had to deal with them. It's the fact that they've pandered to them and they've allowed it to then become ingrained behaviour. And if you let kids do that, they'll ride roughshod right over you.
Yeah, absolutely they will. And it's not good for them either. I mean, it doesn't create a society of useful adults. It creates a society full of narcissistic babies that want to walk around on all fours, being led on a leash with a bloody dog mask on.
Speaking of narcissistic babies,
that's a good segue, actually.
Here we've got Keith Starmer.
I spotted this one just before we came online. And it just speaks volumes about the whole government. I mean, they're holding this big investment conference, and because of all of the uncertainties about what those idiots are going to do with the taxation system and the fact that we have sky-high electricity prices, the whole thing is DOA completely. I mean, it's the same as when they shut down the country's last steelworks.
Yeah.
And they were saying, oh no, it's fine. We're going to be replaced with these electric arc furnaces that can only recycle steel. They can't create new steel because they're not hot enough. And the National Grid was like, no, you don't. It's not happening until 2032 at the very earliest because we don't have the capacity.
Well, that's the truth, because they don't have the infrastructure. It's like Scotland's full of wind farms. We don't have the infrastructure to ship that electricity around in Scotland, never mind ship it down to England.
Absolutely.
Because they've got this thing called, what is it? What do they call it? Line congestion, right? So it's like trying to say you've got a motorway that's designed for 5,000 cars every hour or whatever. They're trying to shove 15,000 cars down that motorway. It's not going to work, right?
Well, I heard a brilliant analogy to the whole green thing. It's like jumping out of a plane and learning to skydive where you're still making a parachute.
Yeah.
That's basically what they're doing. They're pummeling headlong into this whole green fiasco. And they want everything to run on electricity, and they're closing down coal-fired power stations and reducing the electricity, the supply of regular electricity that's reliable, that you can just switch on and power up and dump as much as you need to into the grid at any one moment.
Yeah,
and it's just barking mad. They're not. This is the problem with zealots.
Yeah, and this is a problem, and Latimer and I have had episodes on this on his Carbon Chronicles series, and it's like there's no reliable storage medium for renewables. That's the problem. So you only get solar power when the sun's out, and you only get effective solar power between certain hours, and you only get it in certain periods of time as well. Because to be fair, once it goes past November, especially up here in Scotland, you're not getting any meaningful amount of solar power until March, because the sun's either not there or it's too low in the sky. So any little bit you got to try and store, but there's no meaningful way of storing it. The problem is, that massive battery, that huge battery system they built, can power the UK for 15 seconds. 15 seconds, mate. And it was like 3 billion or something. 15 seconds.
The whole thing is utterly and completely mental. Meanwhile, in the time that we've been discussing this on the show, China's probably built another 10 coal-fired power stations.
Yeah, they're building, one a week, I think. In 2023, in 2023, they built 43 coal-fired power stations. And I think they're on track to beat that this year.
They burn more coal than the rest of the world put together, and they're not stopping. It's only just getting more and more. So any...
do you know how many power stations they've got?
Don't know. Loads.
Coal-fired power stations, China has 3,092.
Which is, which is why they've got enough electricity to power their whole economy.
Yeah, and they're building they're building a thorium molten salt nuclear power plant in one of their deserts somewhere.
Which is supposed to be a really safe form of nuclear power.
Yeah, I think it's a really sensible thing. In fact, to be fair, Bill Gates is building one in, is it Colorado or Minnesota? Oh, I'm not exactly sure. Somewhere in the Midwest, I think he's building one as well. But it's also going to be a storage plant, because what it's going to do is it's going to use thorium as its medium instead of steam. And it's going to also heat up another liquid salt that it will be pumped into like thermal vessels that will be stored there so that it retains its heat as much as it can, that they can then use to generate electricity and smooth out the grid as well. So it kind of does both storage and generation. But when you start using molten salts to store to store energy, then you're starting to lose a bit of efficiencies. That's the problem.
It's just this, we seem to be completely going in the wrong direction for idiotic reasons.
Yeah.
And it's this, it's basically, it's a very anti-human agenda when you stop and think about it.
Yeah.
And they're trying to roll back progress. They're just, and it's absolutely crazy. And when you look at, well, anyone who disagrees with them gets censored. They're now, I mean, John Kerry is talking about wanting to change the First Amendment of the US Constitution to stop people pointing out that everything he's been saying for the last 20 years has not come to pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what was it Hillary Clinton said the other day? We need total control of all social media. Yeah. Let's see how that would work.
She just wants to stop talking about Pizzagate, really.
Yeah, and our friends that commit suicide.
Yeah. And as we were saying last night, nobody has that many friends who commit suicide. Sorry. And when
I don't even have anywhere. I don't even have a tenth of the amount of friends that she's got that killed themselves. But anyway,
exactly. And when you look at the sort of person she is, how does someone like that have lots of friends? I don't think so.
No, they get hangers on and people that are trying to get ahead or hoping that they can use the Clintons to do something, or more likely the Clintons are using them to get, something that they want, and then when they don't need them anymore, they just get discarded.
Well, suicided.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to be politic, but you're right.
I mean, when the woman has a meme about her where something bad happens, and you just put, I have information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. Because that's an actual thing. Someone had information that could lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton, and she posted it on Twitter, and 24 hours later, she was dead. This is not okay. What is it? Causation is not causality, or whatever the hell. But
correlation is not.
That's the one.
Correlation is not proof of causation, but it definitely questions need to be asked, shall we say? A thorough investigation sounds like it would be needed.
Well, it strikes me that you just need to put everyone in the US government, everyone in the British government, everyone in every European government under a bloody microscope, hold them upside down, shake them until all this stuff comes out their pockets, go through every single device that they've got, every single device you can find in their homes, and then figure out which ones are disgusting pedophiles and which ones aren't. But it's just, I don't know, because we've talked about it loads, and this whole notion that you have to have some sort of compromise on you before you can get ahead in this world wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all either. And I don't think it's just the UK and the US. I think almost all these countries have got the same kind of setup, haven't they? Because you'll get people that will push things for so far and then they'll just give up. And then you get I mean, you get people that you think are maybe trying to expose things, right? And then suddenly they seem to clam up, and it's as if, have they been compromised, Because you get, right...
Or have they been warned? Or scared?
I mean, you get someone, right, and with Johnny Vedmore on last week, you get someone like Johnny Vedmore, and Johnny Vedmore doesn't hang about when he's going for people, He's a diligent researcher, I would say, and he goes through, histories and things quite extensively, and writes articles that call out people, and he doesn't give up. But I don't think anybody's ever got to him yet. That's the thing. And is that what happens? Because you get other people that you think are, going down that kind of route, and then suddenly they clam up. It's like, even like I don't know who can I think of? That what's his name? That Dr. John Campbell guy. He kind of started that way, but now it's just nonsense. He just speaks nonsense. He just sits there and draws things on a bit of paper and pretends to work out the maths and tries to be all reasonable. And it's like, that's not how he started. Because when he started, he was quite voracious in his argument, but he's not like that at all now. You
know. Yeah, I think to some extent these people see how big and powerful the system is, and how the system has everyone and everything co-opted, and they control the police, they control the judiciary, and they can basically destroy your whole life. And then you realize that you've got a family to feed and you've got to keep a roof over your head.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's a very difficult position to be put in. But at the same time, you wish sometimes people had a bit more balls, because there are people out there who do.
That's why we need people like you, right? Because we need single men that have nothing to lose, because you have nothing. I don't mean that in a bad way, but you don't have a kid. You don't have a wife. You know what I mean? The only person you're looking out for in real terms is yourself and your seagull. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
people like
family,
you,
but
but people like you, and I'm not suggesting that you do this, but people like you are the type of people that can actually make a difference when it comes to investigating stuff. To a degree,
yeah.
you know, it also depends on ability and, you know, access and things like that. But it's difficult, as you said, it's difficult for someone who's trying to keep a roof over their head and, you know, feed their family and make sure their daughter not getting bullied at school and all this kind of carry on. It's difficult for someone like that. If somebody suddenly turns around and says, you know, sends them photos of their daughter and things like that, and you think, oh, how did they get them, and what's this meant to mean? That kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, Kit Clarenberg is a really good example of that, and he's in Serbia because the British government's not a big fan of him. So even if you are and I don't think he's got any dependents. So even if you are a single man, you still potentially have to upend your life and go and live somewhere else.
Yeah. Hey, not going to be an easy battle, mate. And Janet in the chat just says, basically, Ed, you're expendable.
Fine with me. If I have to lay it down for a good cause, I will. But I'm not.
It's probably greater
I'm not
good.
going out for nothing.
yeah. But yeah, I see. It's like what's his name? The UNN guy he's not come back to the country since he went on holiday, has he?
David Clues, yeah.
Yeah, David Clues. He's still out of the country. I mean, he just stays a few miles away from where I am right now.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him either, but he's got a family. Tommy Robinson, he's got a family, hasn't he? You know, these people, although they're strong-willed and they're fighting, when you've got a family behind you, sometimes it's a hindrance rather than a help, because other organisations have got a way of getting to you, you know, and that might sound a bit conspiratorial or maybe even, you know, over the top, but I think when you look at how the Secret Service type organisations work, I don't think anything is beyond them, you know. Even when you start digging into the special services within the police force, you know, like special branch and stuff like that, probably the NCA, I think you're getting to the point they will start to take actions that maybe are not quite within what we would consider would be the law.
I don't doubt it. I mean, there's ample evidence of, even if you just look at MI5 on its own.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just one of them. And absolutely, when it comes to furthering their own goals, they're ruthless. They won't shy away from eliminating people or smearing them, or destroying families or threatening them. I mean, it's and they're really sinister.
They are, mate. They are. Right, let's try and start lightening things up a bit, shall we? because we don't want to go too heavy. And I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm just thinking.
I'm in agreement.
With an hour in, it's time we started getting a bit more into the fun side of things, right? Although we've still got some slides that are probably going to confuse us, because I'm not quite sure. I was married for 15 years. Only after I had divorced that I realised I'd never consented to sex.
What the fuck?
That beggars belief. Well, what the fuck are you wanting? Do you want a written form? Before any time you have sex, saying I fully consent to sex, and even if I say no, I mean keep going. I mean, really, what the hell is going on with people? That's a ridiculous statement to make, is it not?
It's almost clickbait. It's almost. I mean, people have issues, and unfortunately, the thing is, you could say, "Oh yeah, it's just a made up story," and in any other decade, I'd probably agree. But this is the 2020s, and it's also, I mean, it kind of speaks to how utterly narcissistic some people are.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I don't think we can carry on with that. There's not much more to say, is there?
No.
What about yeah. That's right. So the police raided the American candy store in Oxford Street and seized all these all these goods, including Lucky Charms, Takis, I don't know what they are, and Cheetos were among the items seized because they have banned in Britain ingredients in them. I mean, what the fuck? This is nanny state. This is nanny state gone completely wrong. Yeah, isn't it? Oh, well, that reminds me. That reminds me. See, when it says incinerated, there was a huge. Do you remember? They had this huge. Where was it? Was it in the Western Isles or something? They had a huge haul of cocaine and tobacco and cannabis and something like that they'd seized, and they burnt it. And the cops were out their box because they were standing round this thing as it was burning, and they were all freaked. They were all completely out their box.
Well, if they incinerate all the sweets, it would just end up with like caramel
sugar.
or
you end up with molten sugar.
Yeah, and also if they contain all sorts of nasties, surely if you incinerate it, that shit's just going into the atmosphere anyway. But also, I mean, if you're going into a shop that explicitly sells American sweets, you know it's all going to be full of nasty crap anyway. And so if you want to put that in your body, then that's on you.
It's nanny state again, isn't it? State
well,
knows
it's the
best.
same as, I'm not sure if it's one of your slides, but there was a story from earlier in the week where a guy at this old chap, I don't know, 60s, 70s, something like that, had picked all the apples off his daughter or his sister's tree and was selling them out of the boot of his car at a car boot sale, and he got the environmental health people crawling up his bum. I mean,
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Can't be selling apples, mate. Don't know where they came from. Well, they came off a fucking tree, didn't they?
I mean, it's just so absurd. It's like those police that shut down little kids selling lemonade in America. I mean, what the fuck?
Can't have a lemonade stall, lass. That's not. We don't know if that's hygienically produced. Well, of course it's not. Fucking 11-year-olds that are doing it.
It's like put down the jug and step away from the table.
Oh, that's ridiculous. It really is. Speaking of ridiculous, right? This was this is an AI generated image. Okay, this is Brighton, I believe.
Yeah, it's theoretically supposed to be, but doesn't look like. I mean, it was posted on Twitter as being Brighton. It doesn't. I mean, apart from the pier, which doesn't even look like our Palace Pier.
Do those houses along the front look like your hotels and things.
Vaguely, but do you see all that sand on the beach?
Mm.
Yeah, dead fucking giveaway.
Is Brighton not a shingle beach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brighton's beach doesn't look anything like that.
Even I know that Brighton's not a sand beach. Right. So the question is, apart from that, it's actually just to kick off a talking point about all the AI photos that turned up last night, because we actually had we did some live interaction last night, and I went to the window and looked out, and then I actually went outside and looked around, and I couldn't see anything that looked at all like an aurora, right? And later on, one of my friends and someone I trust went outside in Edinburgh and said they could see a faint red, pardon me, haze in the sky. And then they sent me a photograph that they took, and the photograph is quite obviously an aurora, right? But with the naked eye, you can't see it. So all these pictures are people just going out and taking pictures with their phone on night mode, and the phone's making shit up.
I don't know. I don't think the phone makes it up. It's basically night mode is a higher exposure to start with. The lens stays open for longer, so it captures more light. And then I think there is image processing that probably enhances it further. But I don't think, it wouldn't be capturing something that wasn't there. It might be enhancing it beyond what the human eye can see.
That's Samsung that about the moon. Do you remember they got caught?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you took a photograph of the moon, the Samsung were actually downloading a high-res photograph of the moon and pretending it was your picture. It wasn't anything to do with what you were taking a photograph of. So my question is, if they've done it once, why aren't they doing it now? Because
that is possible. However, given the vast range of different people that have been doing it, the vast range of devices that they've been using, and the different countries, and you've got and it tracks because you've got people further north that are getting shots of really bright auroras, and people further south where it's all looking a bit further away. I don't think it's necessarily phone cameras either. I think because there's a photographer down here that was capturing some pictures of auroras from the Sussex Downs.
Yeah.
Some of them are fake, but the fact is with the auroras, they're a symptom of the solar storms, and those solar storms. We detected the CME was detected on the GOES X-ray flux chart, so we knew that this energetic matter was headed for the planet. We know roughly how fast it's moving, how long it's going to take. Yeah, there were some issues about the predictions, and it turned out to be a bit quicker than they thought. But fundamentally, you see something happen on the sun. We detect things happening in space with the solar wind.
Yeah.
And then we see the natural result of that on the planet. But one of the reasons that all these auroras are happening and they're all visible is because the Earth's magnetic field is weakening, which means that what would normally, if this is 20 years ago, the size of CME and so the resulting solar storm wouldn't have caused auroras.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And see, trying to get that across to people, it is one of the hardest things ever. It's like people are like, we saw the aurora two months ago, and it was meant to be once in 1,000 years, event, and now we're seeing it again. So tell me why. And someone pestered me last night to the point where I'm thinking, you don't even follow me, so you're getting blocked. But yeah, why are people so dense? They won't do any freaking research of their own. They won't even look at. Go and listen to Ben Davidson or even just look up the magnetic field and what causes. I've got people fucking arguing with me today saying that the magnetic field has nothing to do with the aurora, and I'm like, what the fuck? Really?
It's a lack of science, a lack of fundamental kind of 1 + 1 = 2 as far as science goes.
Yeah.
And also, I think part of the issue that we've got is that after the last 4 years, people are so skeptical and so mistrusting of in any kind of authority,
Conspiracy.
and so quick to jump on bandwagons.
Yeah.
That they're not stopping to actually think it through properly. For example, the amount of, I mean, I saw someone replied to one of my tweets about it earlier, saying that they've achieved similar results dropping barium from aircraft at high altitude.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, okay, that might cause what look like localized auroras.
Yeah, but not worldwide.
But it's not going to cause them on the scale that we're seeing them. I mean, when you look at the actual, because there is an aurora watch, if you go to spaceweather.com,
yeah,
one of the maps on there is from NOAA or NASA, and it's basically an aurora prediction map based on the solar winds and charged particles and all this other stuff. And so we can see, I mean, these are things that they can be mathematically predicted. They can be quantified. They can be measured. It's not just the human eyeball that can see them, but we have all sorts of instruments that pick them up as well.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes I think some people are just so jaded.
It doesn't stop there. We've got more, right? We've got more. Okay, you'll have plenty of time to explain the next one, right? So, sorry. Here we go. So this is Lieutenant Dan, as they call him, the guy that stayed in the hurricane zone in his 20-foot sailing boat because that's his house and he doesn't have any money or whatever. And yeah, I mean, he's a serial offender. He's got like a mugshot. He's got a mugshot book that's longer than your arm. There's loads and loads of mugshots, but I think, to be fair, most of the court appearances are from not turning up. So I think when he didn't turn up for the first one, it's just kind of expanded from there. But then people are calling him a Peter File, but because some guy that got done for what they call illegal intercourse with someone in Colorado or something like that has the same surname as him, different first name, same surname, and is presently in Leavenworth or somewhere like that, 720 years. So it's hardly likely to be this guy. And then the latest is he was snapped here with his bald head, and then the day after he has a full head of hair, and it's a psyop now. Is it not? I mean, is it not just maybe the guy's got a fucking rug? Is that not a possibility?
Well, yeah, or it just could be the crown at the back of his head that's lost his hair, like happens with a lot of men.
No, but this is the day after.
I don't know. I just
no. When you actually, if you look at the video of him, he doesn't have a lot of hair, right? Okay, so see that picture.
Why exactly does it matter? I mean,
it doesn't matter. But
some crazy dude decides to stay on his boat, and suddenly everyone's talking about it.
Because people are fucking throwing money at him now. But the thing is, the guy's obviously got a rug, right? And people are claiming it's a psyop. How's that a fucking psyop? I mean, just because the guy puts a wig on. Holy shit.
He won't be the first, he won't be the last.
I just don't. And then, right, here's the next one, Ed. Here's the next one for you, okay? And I try to explain this to people, right? Because pictures taken from fairly low altitude, because the ISS isn't high, right? So fairly low altitude, because of course the why is it right? So people are saying, look at the size of that hurricane, it's covering a quarter of the planet. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's taken from the ISS, which isn't that high in real terms, right? I think it's like 200 miles up or something. And it's a fucking fisheye lens. That's why the Earth looks bent like that. They're not far enough away to see much of a globe. If it's
a fisheye lens, why is that protrusion from the International Space Station not distorted?
It is distorted. Because it's really close. But that is distorted. That is a fisheye lens, mate. The ISS isn't high enough to see that kind of curvature. It just isn't high enough. If you put a 50mm lens up there, you'd be lucky to see the curvature because it's not that high. 200 miles isn't that high. I mean, remember, this planet is 38,000 miles in circumference. You know, it's big. And you've got to be like 22,000 miles away before you start seeing it as a fucking globe, not 250. So I think the problem here is you've got a fisheye lens, which is bent. I mean, you remember that guy Felix Baumgartner went up in the hot air balloon with the GoPros, and you could see that the Earth was curved because GoPros got a really wide angle lens by default, and then at one point the camera moved so it was facing the different way, and everything bent the other way because the camera had changed the camera had changed the way it was looking, and everything was now convex. So cameras play tricks on you, especially at wide angles. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to think that the hurricane's that size. It doesn't cover a quarter of the Earth. It doesn't even cover the whole of Florida. It's tiny. It's just...
Well, yeah, I mean, you only have to look at... The thing is that if you're just going to look at one picture...
Let me just finish. And what they do then is they cut that out, right? They cut out that picture out and then fit that curve to a picture of the Earth from 22,000 miles away and go, look, it does cover a quarter of the planet. It's like taking a picture of someone at 6 foot away. In fact, actually, you know what it's exactly like? It's like that Father Ted episode where he was explaining to Dougal, this cow is very close. Those cows are really far away. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you.
But you can't tell people. You can't tell people.
Look, I'm at this point where if people want to say that 1 + 1 is 6 and the moon is made of cheese and that the sky is purple and that Keir Starmer knows what he's doing, then just rock on. As long as you're not trying to force me to believe in the same thing, then just get on with it. And I just don't argue with me because life is too short.
Yeah, you might have a point. What kind of cheese?
I don't know, camembert. The book that I'm reading hasn't said anything about the moon being made of cheese, just so we're clear.
Does it say anything about it being hollow?
Yes, it does, and it talks about
I'm looking forward to this one.
The fact that the various missions that the Soviets sent an unmanned one, and NASA supposedly did the same thing where they put seismometers on the moon, and then fired essentially defunct spacecraft, things that they didn't need, at high velocity at the moon to see what would happen. And as with everything else related to the moon, the results surprised them massively because when you hit the moon, it rings like a bell.
Yeah,
and you get these sustained vibrations going through it.
Yeah, it goes on for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely fascinating. It's going to be a good show, that one.
Yeah, next week. Yeah.
Assuming I'll know by Monday because I'm trying to diligently finish the book at the moment.
Right. Okay. So possibly next week. Right. And if on that note, if you're ever wanting to think about giving us support, you can always drop us a little something at ko-fi.com/chasing-descent or ko-fi-.com co-fee. That's KO. Like it is on the bottom of the screen, right? Except instead of putting Chasing Descent, put Sgt Grumpy, SGT Grumpy. Goes to the same account, so it doesn't matter what one you do, but Chasing Descent is disappearing as I take stuff off it slowly but surely. Right, let's crack on, shall we, Ed?
Mm-hmm.
Next we have another one, right? Frank fighting for freedom. Why is the water being sucked out? This normally happens shortly before a tsunami. Weird to see out of St. Petersburg. Is Florida about to experience a tsunami? Now, it's actually called a storm surge because you know what happens? What's in the centre of a hurricane, Ed? What's it called? That thing in the centre of the hurricane? The eye? Yeah, the eye. And you know what the eye is? It's a massive low pressure zone right in the middle of the hurricane. And if the hurricane's over water and it's low pressure, what's it going to do? It's going to pull the water into a big hump. And that's what happens. The water goes into a big hump. And that's why
there's no point. I mean, the storm surges are kind of like tsunamis. I mean, obviously,
but it's not a tsunami. I mean, a tsunami goes on, and the problem with a tsunami is the frequency of the wave. A storm surge is nothing like that kind of frequency. So they're not even. It's not even a tiny bit comparable. But so yeah, that's why the water disappears. So yeah, okay, Frank fighting for freedom. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Jesus. Right. Now it was nice to see Kanye's missus wearing clothes for a change. Although she doesn't seem to have a fucking happy medium, does she?
It's just the what I thought they were getting a divorce or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't follow celebrity bullshit, but I seem to
What the fuck is she a robot? I mean, she's always got that expression. She's always staring straight ahead. She's always holding onto his arm. Is she an actual freaking robot?
Well, maybe Kanye got one of the early versions of the Elon sex bot. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I thought, because I saw that picture earlier, and I actually thought that ridiculous fur coat was. I mean, is she deliberately trying to wind all the animal rights people up?
I think it's Kanye. I think Kanye's trying to wind people up. But it's like, that's Kanye's wife. It's Kanye and his wife, that Italian bird. I don't know her name. Do you know her name?
No. But why the hell would you, why the hell would you wear something like that?
Hold on a minute. Why the fuck is Vaughn? Right, hold on a minute. Vaughn says the Earth is 24,900 miles in circumference.
God, here we go.
No, but why would I think it would be 38,000?
I don't know.
Well, look,
are you thinking 38,000 kilometers?
I don't think I was. Right. Okay, let's have a quick check. I'm going to have to check this. I mean, I might be wrong.
The other thing that I want to know about Kanye's bird thing is, what freaking animal did that come off? Because it looks like
apparently
one solid bit of fur. I mean, is that an entire polar bear or something?
Well, no, it's not solid. It'll be artificial fur, mate. It'll just be generated fur. Right. So apparently, the Earth's circumference is 40,000 kilometers. So where the fuck did I get 38,000? What's going on? This is a Mandela effect.
Oh, bollocks.
Yeah, I mean, it says it's 24,900
miles. The circumference of the bloody planet, okay?
Oh, I think they are. Well, no, I mean, it's a Mandela effect. I think I've slipped into an alternate universe.
Oh, Christ. I don't think
fuck?
So. He just
I don't understand
woke up on a totally different planet.
It's like I was completely gobsmacked when they wheeled out fucking Jimmy Carter the other week, right? Who looks like a corpse. I thought Jimmy Carter was dead and had been dead for at least a couple of years. I remember people making fucking jokes about Peanut Farmer and things like that when he died. So I think I've slipped through a hole into an alternate universe. You know how if you go to sleep and you can wake up in a different one where things are just slightly off? Yeah, I think that's happened. I think it's happened to me.
Picture a man sitting on a podcast,
right? Okay.
Not knowing what he is doing or where he is or anything else. You've entered the Sgt Grumpy zone.
Yeah. Speaking about that, right? this is a cracker, mate. And this isn't the best of it. We've got another story coming up soon. Right, one-legged African pirate now gets an integration plan. This is how he will become a Dane, right? So what happens is Danish Navy fight off Somalian pirates who decide to attack the fucking fighting vessel. It was obviously too dark. They thought it was obviously some kind of, frigate or commercial vessel. Tried to attack it and get shot up by the Danish people, the Danish soldiers or whatever, or Marines on the boat. And one of them got shot in the leg. And he lost his leg as a result of it. So they took him back to Denmark and gave him an artificial prosthesis, right? And now they're going to make him a Danish citizen. Now, hold on a minute. Where the fuck? He was attacking your ship as a pirate. And you're going to make him a citizen? How does that even work, Ed? How does that work?
It doesn't. It just encourages more of them to attack your ships, frankly.
And the fucking best thing is his name is Lucky.
Oh, maybe the Danish crew took a shine to him or something. I don't know. The whole thing is mental, but we've got similar. I mean, not exactly the same, but similar stupidness happening in the UK. I mean, it's just liberalism gone mad. That everything is it's like there's no crime. You can just do whatever the hell you want, and these people will just slap you on the wrist. Apart from saying anything they don't like on social media, obviously.
The guy's an actual pirate. They're going to take him back and integrate him into Danish society. He's not a fucking Viking, He's not to be heralded as a conquering hero. He's a pirate. It beggars belief. It really does.
No, but what in 2024 doesn't beg a belief?
I know. I like it though when a council does have a sense of humour and puts a bike lane over that.
I bet all the bike wankers are losing their minds about that one.
They'll be losing their shit left, right, and centre over that.
Well, with any luck, it might.
And the good thing is, look at the outside of the, in between the white lines. There's all those wee bollard things to stop you cycling over them as well. So you can't even get out of it. You've only got that. If you cycled down the white line, you might get away with it.
Yeah.
And talk about bike wankers. See the amount of bike wankers I've seen this week. One runs into a fucking JCB. He's hurtling down a hill. He must be doing about 45, 50 mile an hour. There's a JCB. There's a sign for roadworks, right? There's a red and white sign on the road. So you're thinking something's happening up there. There's a big fucking yellow JCB, right? The image of the camera is obviously on this clown's head, right? And his fingers never leave the handlebars. He never reaches for the brakes. He's fucking flat out and he's going for it. And he runs flat bang skelp into the fucking bucket of this JCB. So apparently he broke his chin, lost some teeth. He's lucky he didn't die, because JCBs are not known for being pedestrian friendly, when you hit them. But yeah.
That's putting it mildly.
I mean, no regard for his personal safety. Then there's another one, right? He's cycling along in a lane, not a bike lane, a lane in London in a Prius of all things, I think, comes across and pulls into the lane in front of him. The Prius is still in front of him, right? He's not happy that this car has pulled into the lane in front of him. So he cycles harder to get right up its arse. So he's right, now you've got a bike right up the arse of the car. Van coming the other way decides to turn across the Prius. Prius stops, bike runs into the back of it, right? Cyclist now thinks it's hit. He's not at fault. It's the fucking Prius driver that's at fault for stopping because a van turned across in front of him. Cyclists are fucking nutters.
Well, not just that, but none of them seem to read the bloody highway code.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're in a car and you run into the back of someone, you're automatically at fault.
Frankie says good evening on on Twitter. Yeah, no, you're 100% right, Ed. If you run into the back at someone, it's your problem, because the highway code says you should always be able to stop in the distance you can see to be clear. Therefore, if you're behind someone and they stop, if you can't stop, it's your problem. But cyclists are so fucking entitled. They really are. And it's wrong.
Well, not all of them, some of them.
A lot of them. Okay.
And they're the same. I mean, they're in the same class of people as those who throw soup at Van Gogh paintings and super glue themselves to roads.
And they nearly all wear Lycra. I'm convinced that wearing Lycra might affect your ability to reason. There might be something in the Lycra. Like, does it squeeze your balls too tight or something like that?
I think it might do.
Yeah.
Some of them shave their legs too. It's really, really, I mean, it's just, who the hell do you think you are? Bradley fucking Wiggins? I mean, if you're on the Tour de France, then 0.001 of a second is going to make a difference. But if you're Reginald doing his Sunday bicycle ride, then you just look really gay. I mean, it's the kind of thing, it's like women should just divorce men like that.
Imagine this. It's 1970 something, okay? I've just got a brand new racer, and I'm out. And I mean, I went everywhere on my bike, okay? But everywhere I went, I wore a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, right? And that was all I ever wore on the bike. Well, I'd wear pants as well, but that's not really important. My mate turns up on a brand new Claude Butler, right? With toe clips, okay? Shorts, shaved legs, and fucking those fancy those cycling shoes with the clips in them, you know, the ones that clip into the actual pedal, right? Not just the toe clips. And I'm going, he goes, I shaved my legs today, and I'm going, you what? So we're cycling along and we come to a set of traffic lights and they're at red, so we stop. And he stops beside me, pulls up beside me and stops, turns around, looks at me, and then goes, and hold on, I'll make myself big screen for this. Or not big screen, but, and then goes, you know, he's sitting upright beside me, and then he goes, bang, because he forgot his feet were anchored to the pedals and he couldn't get his foot out. I nearly fell off my own bike laughing at him. Shaving his fucking legs. Right. Anyway, let's go back. I'm going to tell you a story so you can relax or go to the toilet, whatever you like. It's up to you. Right, so this carnage, this scene of carnage here is going to be related to you. And I quote, "My poor husband. I have to share what happened to him yesterday. So we lost a chicken to a predator. During the day over the weekend, we guessed it was a raccoon, and we put out a trap. Yesterday we caught a young raccoon in the trap. We debated what to do with it. We decided to just let it go a few miles away instead of killing it. Very, very laudable, you know. The thing was vicious. So he took some bear spray with him in the car, just in case he would need it when he let the raccoon go. So just to bear in mind, it's still in the trap. It's now in the back of the car. He has bear spray. As he was driving to the release point, he heard a noise. He looked in his rearview mirror and, to his surprise, saw the raccoon's head staring back at him. Right next to him from behind the driver's seat. The raccoon had escaped the trap and was running loose frenetically around the car. So he sprayed the raccoon, and bear in mind we're in a closed car, with the bear spray while driving. The thing ran across the dashboard, over seats, over my husband, going nuts, running all round the car. Her car. My husband keeps spraying it and managed to open the windows. By this time, we slowed down to a crawl. My husband couldn't see her breathe because of the bear spray. The raccoon jumped out of his window, and then her husband pulled over to the side of the road, gets out of the car, gasping for breath. And you can only imagine what anyone follow him thinking, what the hell is going on in that car, right? Then after about a minute of catching his breath by the side of the road, he has searing pain in both legs. He looks down, his legs are covered in fire ants. He'd been standing on an anthill. Anyway, I now have pepper spray all over my car, everywhere. It smells like musky wild animal and pepper. That's the best tweet I've seen all week. It really is.
I wonder how long that marriage will last.
Oh, that's a cracker. That's an absolute cracker. Right, have you seen this one? Germany has entered peak crime world. Doctors have to be trained to prevent stabbings from migrants by towel slapping.
I saw that video. It's literally the most... I mean, that doctor's not... If it was an actual person with a knife hell-bent on trying to stab you, using... I mean, okay, I accept that a towel wielded in the right way could help you defend yourself against knife attack, but slapping them in the face with it is not the way to do that.
The thing is, the guy wielding the knife is protecting his eyes because he doesn't want the towel in his eyes, right? But a crazed guy coming at you with a knife isn't going to be protecting his eyes. He's just going to come at you. You're not going to get anywhere near him with a towel. The best thing you could do would be to wrap it around the guy's arm and try and control the knife. But I don't think they're teaching that. Idiots. Absolute idiots.
Well, and then they'll say, well, then there'll be this whole rash of doctor stabbings in Germany because the towel technique didn't work.
Yeah. So, it has ruined my life, says whatever her name is, Meeling or whatever. Sammy, right, who expresses her anger at Waitrose after they offered her a £25 voucher after she was knocked out by a falling cauliflower. First of all, how the fuck does a cauliflower fall on your head? From what height are they stacking vegetables in Waitrose? Really?
Well, I have a Waitrose near me, and I was in there the other day, and they don't, even the big Waitrose, they don't stack the veg so high that a cauliflower could fall out of a tray and hit you on the head. I mean, I don't understand how, unless, apart from anything else, how does a cauliflower spontaneously fall? I mean, they're not round, they don't roll.
Well, they might to a degree, but they're not going to roll on their own. They're not going to roll on their own, right? And then, I mean, you can see that guy is trying not to laugh. You're right enough, Julie. But she's like, a cauliflower fall on head. It changed my life.
Even an unripe green cauliflower wouldn't. I mean, they're not heavy, they're not hard.
No,
I mean, a cauliflower.
This is nonsense. This is somebody trying to rip the piss out of Waitrose, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, well, it's someone trying to get compo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. They're not hard. They bounce, don't they? They're kind of rubbery cauliflowers, to be fair.
It would either bounce or it would just break up.
Yeah,
because I mean they're not exactly solid.
Yeah, I think.
But I still don't know how the hell does a supermarket cauliflower fall on your head? I mean, they're not.
It's the height thing. There's no height. There's no height involved.
I mean, how tall is this lady? Is she like 3'5" or something? She's a hobbit size. Maybe if she was hobbit size, that might.
She did to be pretending to be a dog for a cauliflower to fall on her head, I think.
Potentially the dog. Maybe she was rubbing up against the cauliflower stand, and that's how it happens.
Maybe she was assaulting the cauliflower and it all went wrong. So Janet comes out with a cracking idea. Have you seen the size of cauliflowers these days? They are minute. She's right. There's no way this cauliflower damaged her. She's at it. You're a fraud, doll. You're a fraud.
What the hell is GB News even doing? I know they just broadcast bollocks most of the time.
Yeah.
But, come on.
I know. It's just crazy. Right. Stanislav Zach says, last month my cat disappeared. A week ago I found him and brought him home. Today my cat came back. Now I have 2 identical cats. And I find this story quite plausible because they aren't quite identical, right? If you look at them, one of them has got a patch of white on his chest and the other one's got what looks like a connected patch of white on his chest. You know, the one nearest us seems to have... They are pretty damn close, though. They are pretty damn close.
Maybe they're two... They became same parents or something.
Siblings, yeah. That's possible. It's quite a fun story and I liked it, so that's why I put it in there.
I like cat stories.
Hey, now this one I just can't get my head round it. Okay, men tried to sneak ketamine into Creamfields by putting Kinder eggs up their bum. Right, so I'm assuming the Kinder eggs were full of ketamine, which is fine. The pair appeared in court after they were searched walking into the festival. What kind of search was going on that they found a Kinder egg that was secreted within your rectum? What kind of searches are they doing at Creamfields?
Well, I don't understand how a Kinder egg would actually last long enough.
Right. Think about it. Forget the chocolate part of the Kinder egg.
Because they've got the plastic container, which
it's
is
just
the
plastic. It's just the plastic container, isn't it? Right. It's not the whole egg. They don't need the chocolate. They probably consumed the chocolate.
Chocolate dripping down their leg that was noticed.
No, they would have consumed. For fuck's sake, you had to get into the Kinder egg. Think about it. So they've consumed the Kinder egg chocolate, taken the toy out, given it to their kid, right? Then stuffed the inside of the plastic container. So effectively, it's nothing to do with Kinder eggs. It's just they've stuffed plastic containers up their ass. That still leaves the question: what kind of searches are they doing at Creamfields that they found a Kinder egg container up someone's rectum?
Well, clearly intimate searches.
And who consents to such a search?
And I mean, the thing is that it's also wildly impractical because there must have been thousands of people at that event and they can't exactly strip search everyone going in.
So what happened? Were these guys like walking funny or something on the approach to the bouncers?
I think if you had the plastic thing from a Kinder egg shoved up your ass, you probably would be walking a little bit funny.
Were they walking funny? You know, and like slightly stinky fingers. Right?
Oh.
And they said, and the security guards, hold on, boys, just you stand there while we get the police, right? And then the police go, we've got reason to suspect, because of your stinky fingers and your strange walking pattern, that you may have drugs upon you. We're going to take you back to the office for an intimate search. Because I cannot see security, I don't think security guards are allowed to search you in that manner, right? And ladies, if you've ever been searched in that manner and he said, look, I've got to get the probe out to do a thorough search, then I think you have been misled and you may have a case against these people.
Yes, I think you may have been assaulted and you might want to seek legal counsel.
Yeah.
We're not lawyers, we're not policemen, we're not judges, we're not trying to give you legal advice, but if you've been treated in such a fashion, then you probably want to seek legal assistance.
You probably do. And I think that's enough of that. No, this is a classic. This has to be the best. And this isn't old. This is October, 4th of October. A burglar broke into a woman's home and hung out her washing, put her shopping away, and emptied the recycling bin before leaving a creepy note. Damian Wojcicki, 36, has been jailed for 22 months for carrying out the unusual... I mean, right, hold on a minute. What's he been jailed for? Tidying up?
Well, I'm actually more stunned that someone who's committed a criminal act's actually been put in prison.
Yeah, but the victim said she was too scared to stay in her own home after she returned from work to find an intruder had moved her belongings. He'd also left a note saying, "Don't worry, be happy, eat up and scratch." Now, I don't know what that's meant to mean. A sentencing hearing at Cardiff Crown Court on Thursday held the bird feeders in the garden had also been refilled. Oh my God! He asked for the bird feeder refilling to be taken into consideration, and plant pots had been moved.
Did he actually take anything?
No. Inside, a pair of shoes had been taken out of its packaging, and the packaging had been placed in the recycling bin. This is the best fucking housebreaking ever. It's like you've been queuing up to hire this guy to come and break into your house.
Yeah.
Could you break into my house next, mate? I could do a bit of clean up, yeah. What the hell?
It's hard. I mean, it's also hardly burglary. It's more like guerrilla cleaning or something.
Yeah. I'd like to take refilling the bird feeders into consideration, my lord. What? You refilled the bird feeders? Are you mad? I've ordered some fat balls. They're coming tomorrow. The whole thing's fucking... This is just ridiculous. You can't make up shit like this. It's just not right.
Well, it's also the Daily Mail.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, that's freaking hilarious. And of course, it's got to be Wales, isn't it? You know? They're all odd down there anyway, aren't they? Hi, Julie. Right. So, yeah. Right. This is the last slide coming, mate. And I just like to think it's Saturday tomorrow. So should you be going out and having a roll? I think this is the kind of roll that you want to be taking.
I love it. Hostage and bacon bap. Oh, that's brilliant. He's never going to live that down for the rest of his life.
I know. That is a classic. Absolute freaking classic. Oh, well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that people. Is there anything else we want to talk about, Ed?
I think we've covered it all. The only other things to cover are serious things or even more crazy things. So I think we've struck a nice balance.
Let's not go back to seriousness now.
No,
but we've had a good time.
Definitely, no, it's been a good show. I've enjoyed it.
I've had a great time as always, and I've consumed 2.5 of my beers, which isn't bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's been good, and I think the levity at the end has perked the mood up somewhat. So remember,
absolutely,
like, share, subscribe, drop us something, this help support if you can. If you can, I'll pester you next week. Anyway, apart from that, as always, it's been great for you.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get on safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get on safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop up. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get on safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think